Hello folks, welcome to the channel. I do hope everybody is keeping well on this glorious sunny day. So I'm out and about on the BMW R1250GS, and today we're going to be talking about having the ECU on your BMW R1250GS remapped, flashed, or whatever you want to call it, and in particular having it done by that UK company based in England called Hilltop Tuning. So if that's something you're thinking about having done or just generally interested in, stick around and I will tell you what you are likely to expect once you have your ECU remapped, flashed. But in the meantime, let's just pop back to the man cave and have a little bit more of a discussion about Hilltop Tuning, what they are, who they are, and what they can do for you. Woohoo!
So we're now in the man cave. So who are Hilltop Tuning? Well, they're a tuning company. They're based in Hinckley in England, and the main man there is a man called Jeff. I've spoken to Jeff a couple of times on the telephone and I've never had a problem in getting through to him. So if you've got any doubts or reservations about having the software put on your ECU, give him a phone call and see what he's got to say. And I'm just going to leave it at that. So there's several options for you to have the software put onto your ECU. So they don't actually change any of the factory settings. So you can either ride your bike there, having made an appointment, and then get them to put the software on the ECU. And then you can pay a bit more money, I think it is, and then get them to dyno the bike as well. So there's those options for you, but obviously just give them a phone call before you go to see them. And if you live too far away in another country or something, again, give them a phone call. You can take your ECU off, put it in a jiffy bag and send it off to them. And they do have a number of approved, authorized installers of the software. So again, just give them a phone call depending on where you live, and Jeff will be able to tell you whether there is one of these installers in your area. As simple as that. So the ECU for the BMW R1250GS sits under the rider's seat. And how much is it going to cost? Well, it's going to cost you about £300 or thereabouts for an off-site install at an approved installer. But give Jeff a phone call. He will let you know how much it's going to cost. If you take the bike into him and you're going to get it dynoed as well, there may be some extra cost for that, but give him a phone call. So it's going to take about an hour to get the software loaded onto a spare section of the ECU, and they don't touch any of the factory settings. And then there's some other work for the technicians to do after the software's been downloaded, just to make sure it's been done correctly and there's no issues. So if you allow about 2 hours, that should be good, and then you can ride the bike away and just ride it for about 100 miles or something like that, and then the ECU learns, the new software learns how you ride, and then it adjusts accordingly or something like that. But I'm no expert. As always, give the guys a phone call if you've got any questions. So what to expect? Well, let's get back out on the bike.
Okay, so we're now out of the man cave, back on the road, back on the GS. So we all know, off the showroom floor, the BMW R1250GS's boxer engine is a stonking engine. It really is that good, and I absolutely love the boxer engine. It's fabulous. However, with all the EU emissions tests and all that kind of thing, as well, all the manufacturers are having to pass all these emissions tests, which may just strangle the engine output a little bit. So what you're going to notice is the fact that the engine just pulls quicker through the rev range and nice and linear as well. So that's one thing you're going to notice. And the other thing, when you approach a bend, you go off the gas and then you pick up the throttle again to exit the corner, whereas before it was slightly on off with the fueling. I don't know what the magic sprinkling of dust has done, but it's just really nice when you come back on the gas to exit the corner, or indeed to pull away if you've been off the gas and then back on again. So you've got the nice linear, quicker pulling through the rev range. You've got the throttle coming on nicely from off the gas. So can you expect an increase in power? Well, I don't really know would be the answer to that. I guess so. However, you'd have to go and put your bike back on a dyno if you've had it remotely remapped, etc. But what I will say is that from the inbuilt dynamometer, which is your derriere, I would suggest that it will be saying to you, yes, I can feel an increase in torque, you know, pulling you through the rev range. I think you're going to notice that, but actually an increase in the 136 horsepower which the BMW GS has got off the showroom floor, I have absolutely no idea what you can expect. But the torque wise, I would very much expect your derriere to go, yeah, I can actually feel an increase in the torque as it pulls, very much so. Into the corner, there's no on off, it just pulls out the corner. Really nice, really nice. If you're wondering about the various modes on the bike, sort of rain mode, road mode, dynamic, etc., there's no change in what those actual modes do, but right across the modes you do notice that definite improvement in the pickup on the throttle. I just love the GS. It's a great bike. Go and buy one. Go to your local dealer and buy one. They're brilliant bikes. They're not an old man's bike. 57's not old. Well, I don't think so anyway. Let's go back to the man cave for a final thought and a few final words about the Hilltop Tuning remap flash. So back to the man cave.
So my final thoughts then on the software that Hilltop put onto the ECU. Off the showroom floor then, we all know that the BMW R1250GS's engine is an absolutely stonking engine. Great fueling, and I would score it, if I was a school teacher, I would give it a sound A. However, when you put the software from Hilltop Motorcycles onto it, I would suggest that we go from an A to an A+, for all the reasons I've shown you in the video that you've just seen. If you've got any queries about the software that Hilltop Motorcycles will put onto your ECU, give them a phone call, as simple as that. And if you've got any comments to make, please make them in the comments section down below. But I would suggest do your own research. If you're not happy, don't get it done. And if you're happy with it, get it done. And that's all I'm going to say about the matter. As ever, ride safe, and we'll see you again soon in the next video. Cheerio for now.